January 13th, 2026 council meeting. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Public comment?
I've got several things, but I'm going to combine them with the spot that's on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure. Anybody else have any public comment? If not, we'll go to resolution 1, authorize the issuance of sale for general obligation of $167,550.
So a little bit of background. This was a previously issued bond in 2019. The bond was coming up for amortization this year. Instead of paying that entire $167,000 out, we wanted to extend that payment, continue to make the same payment we've already been making, to allow a little bit more cash flow for anything that we might need.
How many years?
That is part of a.
Is it in here?
Yes, it is in
Oh, I'm
there.
sorry.
Sorry, I had that up there. Just like that.
It's like 3 more years.
3 more years, I think, is
Thank you.
correct, Jeremy. Thank you.
Another question I had that's really not going to affect the outcome. What was the previous interest rate on the other note? Do you have that?
On that note,
Yeah.
I do not know, but
This one is.
we would have had to pay the $167,000 this month to pay off that note. So
The effective interest rate on this one was like 5.221 or
Yes.
over the life of the note. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, Alice, to answer your question, February 10th of 2029 would be the last payment on it.
Thank you.
If there's no other discussion, I'll make a motion. We authorize the issuance and sale of $167,513.64 general obligation promissory note.
Second.
Motion by Broker, second by Cregan to approve the issuance of sale of $167,513.64 general obligation promissory note. I think we should have a roll call for this.
Yeah.
From?
Yes.
Gill?
Yes.
Broker?
Yes.
Krieger?
Yes.
Actor?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Discussion from Jack about Highway 67 concern.
And in sundry items, as I pass public comment. First of all, thank you for tolerating me and permitting me to come. As Bob said, as I called him shortly after he was elected, I said, Bob, I'd like to get with you and take a drive around town and point out a few things and concerns. He said, "Oh, I was expecting this. I've been warned about you."
I don't know if I said it in that word.
But anyhow, we did drive around, we didn't have an accident, and everything worked out real well.
Right.
This goes back, and you should have a piece of paper in front of you that looks like this, and I think it's self-explanatory, but the fact of the matter is that the date on this goes back about 4 or 5 years ago, okay? And I came here and had the same dialogue that I'm gonna have now. And if any of you pay attention to the east side of Kiel, you would understand, I believe, that that's probably becoming the main street of Kiel more than Fremont Street is. And I don't have the chart, but at that point when I was here the last time, Jamie taken some of my scratch paperwork and put up a thing on the screen that you could look at. But I've got a sheet here in which I've made out that shows all of the businesses and stuff that are along Highway 67. And I have the opportunity every day to come down Double X and stop at Highway 67. And that being the starting point, it should be very concerning, because I think an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And it doesn't pay to wait for accidents to happen. But if you come to that intersection and you stop and you look to the north and then you look to the south, and by the time you double check to the north again, somebody's coming hell-bent for election over that hill from the north, okay? If you look and observe our surrounding area, if you go to New Holstein, Chilton, Hilbert, Forest Junction, Greenleaf, De Pere, Elkhart Lake, Ada, Howards Grove, and Valders, and Plymouth, you'll see logical signs up saying 25 or 35, where ours is 45. And so I have been in contact for the last 4 years with Madison and with Green Bay, and our jurisdiction here is out of Green Bay, and they came to do a speed audit, which they, when they were done, they blew it off as saying not too many people exceed the speed limit. I beg to differ with them that also, that when they did some of that work, there wasn't school for 2 days of the 4 days that they did it. I've recontacted all of those 3 people again. I've got all that information in this folder here if anybody cares to speak to any of those people. They had asked at that time that I get a letter from the city and a letter from the town of Schleswig saying that they would agree with that philosophy to drop the speed limit, and I did that. And the city and the town both sent letters. However, again, the state is saying, it's like Public Service Commission kind of all over again, but they're saying, no, it's logical. And it isn't logical. That speed should be 45 miles an hour on the top of the hill where the old Mauer farm used to be, and then coming down, it should be 35 starting right past Double X, because in the cars going north, when they see that 55 mile an hour speed limit sign that's just past Double X, they're already gunning it going to the north. And when you look at all of the things that are down along that stretch of road, including the firehouse, which needs to get out, and including Tom Miller's farm equipment, which he needs to get out, there's no reason that the speed has to be there. One of their excuses was that that would create a big lag in the time that it takes to get from one end to the other. I had my nephew calculate it, who's an engineer, and it would be 10 seconds longer if the speed was reduced to 35 instead of 45. So I'm going to continue to push this, and I'm requesting that I get some support from the city to do that, and I'm looking for anybody that would like to help and participate. So that's my request, that we go back after that. I would hope that the city would pick up the ball, because it will have more impact than just me doing it alone. So that's end of that subject. Tied into that subject was...
I got a question on this first.
Yeah.
Didn't the PD, didn't we get denied?
Yeah.
From the state, when was it? How many years ago was that?
About 3 or 4.
And their reasoning was what again? The reasoning for denying it to go to 35?
Yeah. And I'm saying, they're saying it's a state highway.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I'm telling them, look at Valders, look at Hilbert, look at Chilton. it's the same state highways.
I agree with you.
151, 67, and 57, all over, so,
I agree with that.
yeah.
Reg.
So, I'll work with Ryan, and if anybody on the council wants to partake, feel free to call me. Okay, second subject, just this is an awareness kind of thing. This was my speed. This is my file on Highway 67, or double X being redone. And in case you don't know, double X is gonna be redone from County Trunk 8 to 67 this year. But it has taken 7 years to get that to happen. I have a document here from the county, from the Highway Commission, that was dated back, it was their budget for 2016 to 2020, and they had in there that County Trunk double X from M to 67 was going to be a major project in 2019. 2019 came and went, and Jim Bauman, who was a county guy from Kiel, and John Niles, who was the county guy from Schleswig, were never told that it was going to change. So then we went to that county board, I went to the county board meeting with them, and they said, well, they just have too many other projects. Well, guess what? All the projects are on that end of the county, and that's something else we need to be more conscious of, is that if you don't talk to the county and don't push your own agendas, we're going to continue to be at the end of the county. So the good news is they did the culverts last year, and they're supposedly going to start in spring, and I'm going to call Greg Groigo tomorrow morning and ask him what date they're starting. So that's where that one's at.
Great. Well, thanks for hitting that up. That took forever to get that project done.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Right.
I mean, that's like a washboard.
Right.
Well, I called Ziegelbauer up and asked him to take a ride with me, and so finally, after about 10 calls, he agreed he would go. And I said, I'll meet you at my driveway. And I had my 1990 Chevy pickup truck, and I said, let's go. And he had his Porsche SUV, and he said, no, I want to drive. Well,
Right.
He didn't feel a bump because he was happy in his own environment. Okay, the next thing very quickly, and I'd like to kind of be brought up to speed because I don't seem to hear much about it, but this has been something that Alice and I got involved with. I was at a meeting a long time ago here and asked about the bowling alleys. And really, I could care less. I don't have a horse in the race. I don't go downtown very often, but it's pathetic that that situation exists. The bowling alley building is 501 and 503 Fremont. It's one of the oldest buildings in Kiel. It was built in 1876, okay?
Is this going to the public comment section? Because this isn't on the agenda.
Public comment, yes?
Yeah, there's public comment, so if you just relax. This here is all of the different businesses that were in that building, okay? That building fell into Wagner's many years ago. If you're old enough, it became a bowling alley. Then Joyce Voigt, who was Wagner's daughter, took the bowling alley over, and when they retired, they sold it to Jimmy Nimmer. Jimmy Nimmer died in 1997. And apparently his wife or family inherited it. His wife died in 2018, Lois Nimmer, in 2018, okay? Prior to that, the taxes had already not been being paid. And so currently, the taxes are somewhere in excess of $56,000. When I came to this meeting many years ago and asked about this, several people said, well, they'd go along with me to talk to Bob Ziegelbauer. The only person that went along with me was Alice. And Alice and I went there, and Bob Ziegelbauer was about as uninterested as could be. And luckily, he's not running again, okay? But we need to take a stronger stance on this because this is totally ridiculous. You've got an ordinance that says that the building inspector should go into buildings if they look bad. Building inspectors, I don't believe has ever gone in that building. I know Bierschbach didn't because I had asked that question. So I'm asking that I will help, I will participate, I will go to a county board meeting with you. I understand that there is going to be some type of a dialogue with Larry Bondi and John Niles and somebody else, Tyler, I think, from the county board. They're coming to the, but but we need to hit that hot and heavy. Now, here's the interesting part, and when you talk about the stupidity of the county, or however you want to look at it, the bill, the tax bill, is sent to Lois Nimmer. She died in 2018. The tax bill is mailed to Lois Nimmer on Wisconsin Avenue in the Holstein, which is her daughter's address. Now, if you get a piece of mail and it's a tax bill, you somehow have some type of obligation. I have talked to the county clerk, the county treasurer, and Peter Conrad, who's a big, just a front man for, he's the county attorney, he's a front man for Ziegelbauer. This is a joke. I mean, nobody, and this whole thing is a farce.
We did have a meeting with,
Ziegelbauer
here when Dave was here.
I got him, I called him up and asked him to come. He didn't want to
He
come.
didn't want to come, and he was uninterested that day here.
No, he's a bullhead.
He didn't want anything to do with it.
No.
But was
So-
maybe in the county board,
There's got to be a way, Bob, of dealing with this. And if it means all of you people have to get on a bus and we go to a town board meeting or to a county board meeting, so be it. And I'll pay for the bus. I mean, because this is stupid. Okay, last thing, and I got to give accolades to Alice again, okay? So this is just an awareness thing so that we get honest with Dave being gone, and I've already talked to Ryan about it and told him I will help with this, but I never go west, or very seldom, so I could give a damn about how bad the railroad tracks are, except it's not right that the railroad tracks are so bad. We started talking about this back in 2017, okay? And I came here and talked, and Dennis Teetering was still here, so that tells you the time frame of this. And we talked about it, and the excuse always is, oh, we can't get to talk to anybody, nobody wants to call. Well, you were right, because I probably called no less than 50 people at CNN, including the corporate headquarters in Canada. And when I finally got to the bottom of it, we had a guy come down out of Appleton who was an absolute jackass. And Alice and Dennis Teetering and I met with him, and he berated Alice something awful. I don't know if he thought because she was a woman he could pick on her, but he was terrible. And so finally, in November that year, in a snowstorm, they came and fixed the track at Fremont. Did a poor job, because how can you do anything on a snowing day in November? Nothing had been done since then. So when I had time one day last winter, I grabbed out my old folder again, and I came down and talked to Dave. And I said, you know, this is dumb. He says, oh, that's the biggest complaint I get. Most people are complaining about how bad the railroad tracks are, the 3 crossings. So I dug in, and again, I looked for phone numbers that I had in this file, and I ended up calling a number up in Stevens Point. Didn't know who I was going to get, because it was a person I'm sure wasn't there. But I did get a lady by the name of Susan Kruger, who said she would be more than interested in working with us after many dialogues. And so she came down and met with Dave, with Ian, and myself, and Alice, I think, right? Mm-hmm. And it was very interesting. She seemed like a sincere lady, and when she ended up leaving, she said that she would take care of getting the tracks pulled out, and if the city would agree to blacktop over the holes in the road. So Dave and her agreed to that. Dave called me probably a month later and said we might have a glitch, because she called him back and was kind of grumpy because he must have somehow spread the word or said something to somebody, and a couple other municipalities called up to her complaining about the same thing. So I'm not sure how her disposition is right now. So I told Ryan that I would wait a month or so as spring approached, and I'm going to call her and see if I can make love to her and see if she's willing to stick to her guns and find out what her starting point is, and then let Ryan take over. But I just want to make sure that, you know, I could die tomorrow, so I'm hoping somebody, you know, gets into this and stays on top of it. The other thing that came out of it that I found out to be very interesting, and you may or may not know, but first of all, you know that there's a bridge down by the railroad bridge down by the furniture factory, which is in not usable shape, okay? So no trains are going south, okay? And no trains come to Kiel anymore because they've lost their last customer. And the last time a train came to Kiel from the north was when the co-op still was selling pizza, and the train would come down to get lunch when they were in Holstein on Sundays. Okay, but what we found out that was very interesting is that we were at the intersection of Fremont Street, and there was a question being raised of, geez, we're not really sure if this is our railroad or not, and we're this and that. Well, as we discussed it, up drives a truck from a guy who works for CNN in New Holstein, and he was coming to put new plastic bags over the signs or whatever. So the question was answered. This guy's been told to work on the tracks at Fremont Street. But if you're not aware, which then I did some more research and found out, if you go down to the furniture factory and look, well, let's say if you go up to Foundry Road and look, to start there, there's a sign on there that says if you have a question, just call CNN at this 800 number. If you go down to the furniture factory, there's a sign that says if you have a question or concern or I'm paraphrasing, call this number. The railroad starting somewhere south of Fremont Street is not CNN. That's another railroad company that's out of Missouri. So as we get into that, and if we got issues to the south, as an example, what's happening with the bridge type of thing, or we want a bike trail to Elkhart Lake, we're going to be dealing with somebody besides CNN. So I rest my case, sir. My public comment is over, and my time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Thanks, Rick. We do have an agenda item for do we want to support, the city council want to support the 67 speed limit down to 35 or not? It's on the agenda.
That would make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Broker, second by to support the action for regarding this 67, Highway 67 speed limit to 35. All in favor?
And make the necessary communications.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take care of the necessary
Thank you.
communications to start that process with the DOT again.
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks. We need to address that, correct.
They still have the final say though, right?
Correct?
Yeah.
Correct, the DOT still has the final say.
Yeah. Of course they want.
Agenda item 8, discussion and possible action for the new auditor.
So this kind of comes up with, we've done business with one financial firm for a long period of time. I think there's mutual agreement throughout the room that there's frustration with how long it took to get the audit back. One of the industry standards is to move that around from time to time. I reached out and received, engaged with Baker Tilly to see if they would have room within their schedule to do our audit. In part of the packet, I put the numbers there for you to be able to look. And with talking to the mayor, this is what we have discussed. So
That's at the committee meeting, we brought this up.
We just have the one quote.
just the one quote from Baker Tilly. CLA and Baker Tilly are the two biggest municipal auditors in the state, and probably mainly in the state. Baker Tilly probably in the nation.
That was one of his biggest frustrations with not getting that audit. That was a big deal. We had to wait.
That was with GLA, correct?
Correct.
And then CLA will be at the February committee of the whole meeting to do their audit presentation for 2024.
So their cost was 62,000 CLA?
Yes, the final breakdown was 66,150 for Baker Tilly. CLA was 62,100. A difference of $4,050 with a guarantee to have the audit at a minimum by September 30th of 2026.
September 30th.
Who does our neighboring communities audits?
Baker Tilly is done by New Holstein. or yeah, they do New Holsteins as well. I didn't reach out to Mr. Detroit in Chilton. I did reach out to Mr. Blakesley in Plymouth. Baker Tilly does theirs as well.
Well, I'm on board. I would make a motion that we approve the contract with Baker Tilly for our 2025 financial audit.
I'll second that.
Motion by From, second by Gill to approve the contract with Baker Tilly for 2025 audit. Roll call. From,
Yes.
Gill,
Yes.
Broker,
No.
Krieger,
Yes.
Actor.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-1. Discussion of possible action for DPW exhaust fan.
So again, getting the lay of land and exploring more things within our city. One of the things when I had a meeting with the guys down at the DPW is that in their main shop, they haven't had a working exhaust fan for welding, grinding, painting, or any of that for a number of years. Coming from a background where, cancer's been a big thing for any kind of inhalation hazards. I think I believe it was $1,400.
$1,463.98.
Is a small price to pay to help better their work environment down there. If we go through and build a new building, this fan would be removed from that building and put into the steel cold storage shed behind there. So it would also allow them to have more use out of it than just a short period of time.
Did you identify this? Like, I don't know, the lack of the fan, did you identify it, or?
No, they actually brought it up to me. I went down there and met with the guys from DPW, and they had raised a concern to me.
How long have you been without a fan?
Chris?
Oh, Ian's actually here.
Ian?
Yep.
Okay.
We have not had proper ventilation since I started in 2019.
So why wasn't this addressed sooner?
It has been addressed multiple times, but
It's been made known.
Is what?
It's been made known. It hasn't been addressed yet.
So we just kept ignoring it? I think that's my question.
Well, yeah.
It's a $1,400 fan, who said no to that?
it's always been, hold on, we're getting a new shop.
Oh.
Getting a new shop, because a fan is just a Band-Aid. It's not really a ventilation.
It's not an exhaust system.
Yes.
Is there any codes regarding this?
Like applicable building codes or
Whether
OSHA?
it's
Health?
OSHA or,
So the fan that's spec'd out is above the recommended CFM from OSHA to displace the air in that building.
okay. Because obviously at the fire department, we have hose hookups and everything like that
Yep.
to avoid these situations.
Yeah, so I went
There's no
down.
reason that the DPW shouldn't have at least something.
They need to have
You
that.
know, I mean, we don't have to go to that extreme. Again, going back to the fact that we're building a new shop, but at least getting them something so that they don't have to sit there and huff diesel exhaust fumes all the time.
Yeah, and I went down and measured the space, and did the CFM calculations to make sure that we were getting something that was gonna be large enough to help support this as well, so.
Is this a self-install type thing?
Yes.
And who's the vendor for this?
The vendor was, apologies, I thought I had submitted that on the packet as well.
Industrial Fans Direct?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to make that purchase then from the vendor as of note for $1,463.98 for the DPW exhaust fan.
I'll second it.
Motion by Broker, second by Actor, to approve the DPW exhaust fan for $1,463.98. Roll call. From,
Yes.
Gill,
Yes.
Broker,
Yes.
Krieger,
Yes.
Actor.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Consideration of sale of surplus utility vehicles.
Yeah, we had two vehicles that we put put out on sealed bids. They were out for about 2 weeks, and we opened those bids yesterday morning. We have a 2003 Chevy 2500 pickup truck that the winning bid was Allison Kissner for $2,751. There was a total of 4 bids actually, but one of the bids did not make it in time for the bid opening. It was after the bid opening, so that one got rejected. So I recommend that we approve the sale of this 2003 Chevy 2500 pickup to the Allison Kissner for $2,751. Also, in the sealed bids was a 1999 Chevy van. The winning bidder on that was Randy Smith Jr. for $1,255. There was 3 bids submitted on that. Both of these vehicles had a minimum required bid of $1,000 or more. So I would move that we sell the 19.
What was the bid on that one? 1,000.
The 1999 was $1,255.
And that went to Randy.
Smith Jr.
Make a motion to approve the sale as is of the 2003 Chevy pickup truck for $2,751 to Allison Kissinger, and the sale of the 1999 Chevy van as is for $1,255 to Randy Smith Jr.
Motion by Broker, second by From, to sell the 2003 Chevrolet pickup for $2,071 to Allison Kissinger, and the 1999 Chevy van to Randy Smith for $1,255. Roll call.
I think the motion was as is.
Oh, as is, sorry.
As is, yes.
Okay. As is. Roll call. From,
Yes.
Gill,
Yes.
Broker,
Yes.
Krieger,
Yes.
Actor.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Discussion on approval of the utility vehicles. That's the new ones, right? A new one?
Correct.
Yeah, so in the packet, the 2026 vehicles that were in the budget, budgeted for, we got some quotes or whatever. Those quotes are in your packet. And our recommendation, Ewald Automotive quoted a Chevy Traverse and a Ford Explorer, and they also quoted a Chevy 1500 and a Ford 150. Volvo quoted a Traverse, Chevy Traverse and a Chevy 1500. The utilities based on past practice with Vogels and proximity for service and possible service work versus having to, some of the dealers nowadays are making you drive back to the other dealer where you bought it from. It would be a common walk for a lot of the stuff. So
Was that confirmed with them?
it was not confirmed with them,
Okay.
but that, some of that happens or whatever, so that's why. But that's why we're recommending Vogels.
These are both from Vogels, right? Both of them?
Both of them would be from Vogels.
That's okay.
The price differences are showing on the sheet there.
I know in recent years, we've approved those purchases, even if Vogels was just a little bit higher, because they were able to start getting within a couple $100, $400, and that's reasonable, but now you're looking at $4,000 here.
Yeah, so whatever, I mean, it's, we can do whatever your recommendation is for this. If they do want to do the Fords, we'll do the Fords, we'll do the Chevy.
Were these spec'd out a certain way?
Yep, they're both spec'd out. The Chevys are exact same
So they
spec,
should be identical?
identical. The Ford is spec'd out as close, engine size is really the only difference.
Yeah, I guess I should have clarified that. The two Chevys,
Yeah, are exactly the same.
those are
models.
spec'd out exactly
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah, I think dealer volume probably is where the discount, the actual state allowance discount that the state has them take off is really the difference of that pricing.
So it's about $2,000 on each vehicle, right, not $4,000?
Yeah, $2,200 on the Chevy 1500 and $19,0850 on the Chevy Traverse.
So a total of about 4,100.
41.
Correct.
Total.
Same warranties and everything.
Yes.
My opinion would be, obviously much rather support Vogel's, but for $4,000, I think we have to go to Ewald. We still have a GM certified service in Kiel, which is convenient. I don't know, that's my opinion. The price is too far apart to take the more expensive one. I wouldn't go Ford because we don't have that local service.
Is there any further negotiations that could happen?
The Ewald is a state contract, so,
What about Bowles?
I don't know.
Specifically Bowles?
Yeah, I
Would we
mean,
be
I
able to
suppose,
negotiate a lower price?
but I don't know that that's, I don't know that that's
That's fair to do that.
fair
Not when you're-
to
when
do
you're
that or
getting-
ever to go.
I don't think that's good practice,
Yeah,
right?
after-
No.
Like, they gave us their best price and the state contract gave us their best price. There are other, we do have other Fords within the fleet or whatever. They all have to either go down to Random Lake or down to Plymouth if we need to service them for that.
There's Shruggy Brothers in Mount Calvary also.
049.
They do a good job in service.
So, looking at the Chevy bid from Bowles for the Traverse,
Yeah.
there's two numbers on there, 45,220 and 43,800, but nothing's labeled. Is the 45,220, is that MSRP?
Yeah, that probably is MSRP. Find that breakdown sheet. Yeah, so that would be the MSRP. They're knocking that down to 43,800, and then their bid assist from the state is $2,100. And then obviously title and transfer go in there. On the same one for the Traverse, they're saying very close. Ewald is 45,247, but their bid assist from the state is 5,158.
And they're both Chevys from Ewald?
Well, Ewald or Van Horn's,
What's
or
the-
Vogel, sorry, would both be Chevy.
Traverse.
Ewald also quoted a Ford,
Okay, okay.
so.
I know it's really nice to have it in town because we have issues at the firehouse once in a while. They come down right away and fix stuff for the money.
Well, and again, is there any reason we can't have them do the service?
No, there's no reason why we can't.
They have to service them if they're.
I mean, I don't see them being the bad guy on the service-ish side and tell you to go get it somewhere else because you didn't buy it here, but, I mean, I would think
I
so.
didn't think that would be a
Service
bad
is-
business practice on its own.
Yeah. It has happened in the past, years ago, when we did buy other vehicles, but it's not the same. And not the same, it was Ford, that was more of a Ford issue. The closest Ford dealer did not want to work on the vehicles, they didn't.
Oh, so it wasn't specific.
It wasn't
Bowles that
specifically
did that.
Bowles, no.
Okay. And if you get service work, that's only bigger too, so.
Are they talking about normal service or warranty?
Warranty is where we have the issue with trying to get them to do it. Normal service should be just fine. It's generally those warranty issues that would come up is where we had the dealership issues. But
Does the warranty go through the dealership or through the,
GM.
through GM?
3 GM, yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Again, I don't see that being an issue.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to give it to you guys to make the decision
Right.
on this, so.
I'd like to make the motion then that we purchase the 2026. Oh, I'm sorry, I was on the wrong page. Thank you for sticking with me. The 2026 Silverado 1500 from Ewald for a total price of $41,260. And '26 Chevy Traverse from Ewald for a total cost of $40,049.
I'll second it.
Motion by Fromm, second by Brooker to approve Ewald for the 2026 Traverse for $40,049 and the Silverado pickup truck for $41,260. Roll call. Fromm,
Yes.
Gill,
Yes.
Broker,
Yes.
Krieger,
Yes.
Actor.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-0. Approve receipts and disbursements.
Move to approve receipts and disbursements?
Second.
Motion by Krieger, second by Broker to approve receipts and disbursements. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approve bills.
Move to approve and pay bills?
Second.
Motion by Krieger, second by Fromm to approve and pay bills. Roll call from
Yes.
Gill,
Yes.
Broker,
Yes.
Krieger,
Yes.
Actor.
Yes.
5-0, motion carried. Need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Motion by Gill, second by Fromm to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.